The Canada Games is a high-level multi-sport event with a national artists program held every 2 years in Canada, alternating between the Canada Winter Games and the Canada Summer Games. Athletes are strictly amateur-only, and represent the province or territory. The Games were first held in 1967 in Quebec City as part of Canada's Centennial celebrations. For the first time in Canada's history, 1,800 athletes from 10 provinces and 2 territories gathered to compete in 15 sports, under the Games motto, Unity through Sport. These first Canada Winter Games paved the way to what is now Canada's largest multi-sport competition for young athletes. Organization. The governing body for the Canada Games is the Canada Games Council, a non-profit private organization incorporated in 1991. The individual games are run by the local host society, a non-profit private organization created for the purpose, in accordance with an agreement between the local host society, the Government of Canada, the Government of the Province or Territory, the Government of the Municipality, and the Canada Games Council. For example, the 2011 Halifax Games were run by the Halifax 2011 Canada Games Host Society on the basis of an agreement between the host society and the Canada Games Council, Canada, Nova Scotia, and the city of Halifax. In 2015, for the first time, there was also a local host First Nation, Lidlitiana. Funding for the Games comes from the several levels of government together with donations and corporate sponsorships. A considerable portion of the work during the Games is performed by local volunteers. History. Held every 2 years, alternating between summer and winter, the Canada Games are a key event in the development of Canada's young athletes. As the best in their age group, these young competitors come to the Games having trained long and hard to be among those chosen to represent the respective province or territory, and compete for the Canada Games flag and Centennial Cup, with the Canada Games poised as a key step in the development of Canada's future stars. Canada Games.Athletes are Canada's next generation national, international and Olympic champions. The Canada Games and the lasting legacies continue to be the catalyst for the growth of sport and recreation across Canada. Since 1967, over 75,000 athletes have participated in the Games, with hundreds of thousands having engaged in tryouts and qualifying events. Over 100,000 coaches, officials and volunteers have been directly involved in the planning and staging of the Games. Cumulatively, $250 million has been invested in the Canada Games, about half of it in capital projects in the various host communities, for the St. John Canada Games Aquatic Centre to the Hillside Stadium and Aquatic Centre in Kamloops, BC, for the Corner Brook Canada Games Centre and annex to the TD Waterhouse Stadium in London, Ontario. A legacy of sports facilities has been built in over 16 communities across Canada. The Canada Games, a celebration of youth, sport, culture and community, are the product of ongoing collaboration between the Government of Canada, provincial, territorial governments, host municipalities, the private sector and the Canada Games Council. The 2009 Canada Summer Games were hosted by the entire province of Prince Edward Island. The most recent Games took place in Prince George, British Columbia, between February 13th and March 1, 2015. Since their inception in 1967, the Canada Games have played a prominent role in developing some of Canada's premier athletes. The Games have acted as a stepping stone for many of Canada's celebrated athletes. The Canada Games Council is the governing body for the Canada Games. As the Games move from one host community to the next, the Council provides the continuity, leadership and support to host societies in key areas such as sport, technical, organizational planning, ceremonies and protocol, marketing and sponsorship. Host cities and provinces, territories. Asterisk, the host cities have not been chosen for the Games after 2019, but the provinces through 2035 have. Summer sports. Sports for the 2013 Canada Games in Sherbrooke, Quebec. Winter sports. The Winter Games includes some sports not associated with winter. Sports for the 2015 Canada Games in Prince George, British Columbia. Former sports. Participating teams. List of Canada Games. For per Games medal standings, see List of Canada Games.